The following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. It is 4:03 p.m., time for the 4 p.m. 411 here on WLCN 96.3 FM. I am Loyd Kirby, your host for the next half hour, marketing manager here at WLCN, and we will be talking, as it is the first Tuesday of the month, we will do as we do every first Tuesday of the month and be talking with Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. Mayor Welch, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
Sure thing. We were talking before we went on the air, lots of things happening in the city in terms of betterment, and I like to think of it as short-term inconvenience for long-term improvement.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I know some road construction, railroad crossings, things happening. We can go over those specific ones if you want to, but I was wondering about the general I don't know, the process for those projects happening. I would assume that you're kind of at the mercy of whatever crews are doing the work, and since some of that is state highway and some of it, you're kind of have to, I don't know, accede to their schedules as far as when those things happen. So Can you kind of tell us a little bit about the process, and then if you want to go over some of the specifics, we can certainly do that.
So like, for instance, the railroad crossings that are going on right now, they're doing upgrades to a couple of those in town, and those are done by the railroad. And so just like when we work on state highways, they pretty much take those projects over. We just work with them to ensure that the traffic rerouting, detours, things like that, we can help with. Our roads, we do go through a process where we select the targets, we put them out for bid, and then the council will approve of the bid of their choosing that comes in, and then the contractors are hired, and then they look at the schedule, the availability of materials, and then they start the project. So we're doing a lot of roads right now in town. Sidewalks, we're doing a lot of sidewalks in town as well. So a lot of work going on. And then we talk about roads. I was going to mention to you the new road that's opening up by IDJJ,
right,
the new facility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So and now how will that alter what's currently there? What's going to be the modification?
So the big change is that if you were used to going down State Street and then you'd make a right on Broadwell Drive and then go out that direction, that section of State Street as you go over the hill is vacated.
Okay.
So that will belong to IDJJ moving forward. And the reason we did that was because they're going to have facilities on both sides of that road.
Oh, okay.
And for the safety of the community, they've just gated that whole section off with fencing, and the people that are housed there, they will be able to move more freely without a lot of restrictions. We were going to have to build a bridge over the road or under the road, and it got real complicated.
Sure.
So what they did was, in exchange for vacating behind on the railroad side, they built a brand new road back there.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a little bit of a change for people down there. We've already seen some people that are running the stop signs. It's not because they're doing it intentionally, it's because they're not used to seeing them there.
Right.
So we're trying to educate where possible. Right there as you come up West Kickapoo and then College Street, there's a new four-way intersection there that ties into the new road. So the road's beautiful, it's new back there, just a little different.
Okay. And once again, if you have questions of Mayor Welch, 217-648-5510, the number to call, or you can email us your questions, 4pm411 at WLCNonline.com. Sometimes we sort of have a main hot topic or something like that, but right now it seems like we've got a smattering of a bunch of different topics, so going to kind of jump around here again. And once again, listeners, if you have items you would like for us to discuss, or questions or things you would like to get on the mayor's radar if they're not already there, feel free, once again, give us a call during the course of the show. We are here till 4:30. So in previous shows we talked about once the calendar gets toward fall and temperatures eventually start dropping, if they're going to, that's when you sort of try to finish up all the outdoor projects and kind of move towards some of the indoor things. Is it unusual to have, because it seems to me like there's a lot of road construction and railroad things happening at this time. Is that unusual for this time of year? Or?
It's a little bit different this year. They are running a little later in the year. We've been very fortunate, but there's also some challenges with simple things like getting concrete. Mm-hmm. That's been a big issue, not just for the city of Lincoln, but anybody who's doing building is having to work. And then it complicated us a little bit because we use our motor fuel tax to pay for some of the concrete work that we're doing. Well, one of the local plants, they weren't certified through IDOT, which meant we couldn't use those funds to do it. So we had to work within the system to be able to do that. So yeah, but I think some of those projects are going to be coming to an end. We've got some other things going on, like some decorating and things like that. We're getting ready for the holiday seasons coming up here, and to that point, one of the things I've wanted for the last 2 years is to bring back a little holiday spirit. I don't know if you remember, but you used to be able to drive down Woodlawn and you'd see lights hanging on Woodlawn, and it just kind of gave a holiday vibe. Right. And so we're bringing some of that back this year. Downtown businesses are doing a little bit of that. So, we're trying to plan ahead for that stuff too.
Sure. And of course, the downtown businesses always have their, the trees around the courthouse and all the decorations going on there. So certainly, if you can't get in the holiday spirit from that, then you aren't trying. So you did talk about holidays. This is not related to the holiday I think you were referring to, but the calendar is now in October, which means Halloween is around the corner. I know typically the mayor has some activities in relation to that, as well as the some time set by the city. So what's going on for Halloween this year?
So the city hours that are set this year is on the 31st. Okay. And I believe that's a Tuesday, and hours are from 5 to 8. Okay. So again, if you're going to participate, leave your light on. If you're not, turn your light off. Be mindful of children in the roads. Specifically, places like 10th Street gets very busy with Dr. Seeloff's house over there. They do a miraculous job of decorating over there. So much fun. But just be mindful, be safe, but enjoy the holiday. And then we do trick-or-treating with the mayor. This wasn't something I started. It's been a long tradition. And so we're going to do that. We typically do it on a Saturday, and we're going to do that on the 28th. Okay. And that'll be from 10 to noon. So if you come down to Latham Park at 10 o'clock, get some candy, get a map of all the participating businesses, and then you can take off and have fun at your own pace.
And I would not be doing my journalistic job if I did not make this inquiry of you. I think, was it Super Mario earlier or Donkey Kong?
I did Donkey Kong
last year.
Yep.
And the year before was...
I think Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I was thinking you were a Ghostbuster.
Yep.
You going to let the cat out of the bag, or is it going to be a big reveal at the event?
Willy Wonka.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
There might be an Oompa Loompa or two there as well.
All right. So are you going to do the thing when you arrive at the at the event and kind of stumble with the cane and then do the somersault? And
I think I can get the falling down part right. I don't know about popping back up.
Well, someone probably knows the number for 911, so we'll get you taken care of. So once again, our guest is Mayor Tracy Welch. 217-648-5510, the number to call if you have questions for Mayor Welch, or some just topics you would like to get on his radar or make sure are on his radar. We'll go ahead and take our first break now, and we'll be back more with Mayor Tracy Welch right after this. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. And we are back on the 4 p.m. 411. We invite you to tune in tomorrow morning to Viewpoint at its new time, 8 a.m. to 8:30, when host Dara Entwistle will have guests from the... Shoot, I just lost my video here. From the Faith Church of Lincoln. She will have pastors Darren and Cammie Palmer. And then on this show next week, we will have Savannah Conradi, the first female firefighter for the city of Lincoln. But as I mentioned before the break, right now our guest is Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. 217-648-5510, the number to call if you have questions, comments, issues you would like to discuss. We, like, as you mentioned to me during the break, it's kind of a hodgepodge week with lots of different topics. Something we talked about, I can't remember if it was last month or the month before, that there were some vacancies on the council as far as, with resignations and whatnot. The council is now back up to its full complement of representatives.
Yeah, Ward 4, I had a vacancy in Ward 4, and I appointed Rhonda O'Donohue to that one, and Rhonda's just done a phenomenal job coming in and getting acclimated and up to speed. And then Ward 2 took us a little longer to find somebody. Ward 2 is just a challenging ward to find people that want to make that commitment and serve. But we were fortunate and we found a gentleman named David Sanders.
Oh, okay.
And David Sanders is on the Young Conservatives group in Logan County. He's helped on numerous other campaigns. And so it brings a really good and fresh perspective to the council. He's a little bit younger than several of us sitting up there, and so it's nice to have a younger perspective and younger people coming in behind us, because those of us that have been there for a while aren't going to be there forever.
Right. And I know one of your issues that you've has been important to you has been just the issue of diversity in itself, and I'm, no matter what the category you're looking at, whether it's racial background or anything age-wise, I'm sure having, as you said, just a different perspective on there is certainly something something you would welcome to the council and just to all the processes involved with that. Yeah,
age is a factor in diversity, and among numerous other things.
Right.
But, David, he sees things through a different lens than we do. I saw things differently when I was younger. And he has some thoughts, as does Rhonda and others, about what they'd like to see the city grow into. And, things take time, and it's working together as a council and a group. But I think overall, we're moving in the right direction, and really anxious to see what the next couple of years look like for those individuals.
And just recently, you mentioned to me the council took some action on at least one topic that we've talked about before on this show with the idea of the safety cameras and the safety issues around the downtown area. Can you kind of bring us up to speed about what activity took place and if there's any sort of a timeline for what happens next as far as the ripple effects from that?
Yeah, so we've talked about this on the show before, where we were trying to improve the safety aspect of the downtown area. We started in an alley uptown, and I would say that things have dramatically improved in that location. And so we wanted to then move that out into the main corridors of downtown. There's a lot of activity down there, and there has been vandalism. There have been things that happen. But the presence of that equipment also brings a sense of safety as well. Right. And so the Chief Meister, he worked with a company that also does our cameras at the police station and the cars, et cetera, working on a program there. And they did approve 4 or 7 cameras in the downtown area. 4 of them as long as everything goes as planned, will be mounted in or around the courthouse, facing out. They're 360 cameras.
Okay.
There will be a couple cameras that are in that alley, and then there will be one on like the alley by the state bank. So it's phase one. We think we're going to add more to it, but you got to start somewhere.
Sure.
So that's where we're at.
And you had mentioned before that not only is it preventing vandalism, but you'd mentioned there are workers that all hours are traveling through some of those alleys and entryways, and just to kind of give them a safer sense, as well as all the family activities that have been promoted, just trying to promote a general safe environment for families to feel safe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's it. There's people that work down there. It gets dark. We're getting ready to go into the fall hours. It's getting darker earlier, and there are people that have to walk distances. There's parking ordinances in place that require people to park a little bit further from where they work. Some of them are in alleys, and just like everywhere in the world, unfortunately, bad things can happen in dark places. But also, we have people that come to town. It gets darker. We have an Airbnb downtown, or a couple of them. And so it's really about promoting the idea that we care about the safety and welfare of our people and the people that come to visit.
Sure. And to that point, I understand there was a new addition to the Lincoln Police Force that the council approved.
Oh, yeah.
A four-legged addition.
Last night, the council did approve a new canine dog. Still, we haven't got him yet. There's a process that we got to go through. The officer that's going to be responsible for being their handler gets to go to the training facility, pick out the dog that best suits their personality, because they will be, the dog lives with the officer.
Right.
And so we'll move forward with that. One of the unique things was about how dogs are what's called imprinted, or how they're trained to detect certain drugs and narcotics.
Really?
And we talked through that one about specifically things like cannabis and how the state has legalized that stuff. Dogs that had been imprinted for that have to be mindful of that, because it's technically legal and we don't want them detecting things. So those are the nuances you got to get into when you're talking about that topic. So yeah.
So now, is there any kind of a timetable, or does it all just kind of depend on how long those different processes take in terms of the officer finding the dog and then going through when the training is available and so forth?
I would suspect we'll probably see that in the next few months.
Okay.
But pay attention, because I think we are actually going to swear the dog in at City Council.
Oh, okay.
So
very nice.
I don't know how that's going to go, but we're gonna find out.
Well, I guess we will find out. So that'll be something to look forward to. So we'll go ahead and take our second break now. Once again, we're chatting with Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. 217-648-5510, the number to call if you have questions or comments and would like to talk with Mayor Welch. We will be back in 2 minutes and wrap up things on the 4 p.m. 411. And we are back on the 4 p.m. 411. Once again, we'll invite you to tune in again tomorrow morning. Pastors Darren and Cammie Palmer will be in the studio from Faith Church of Lincoln. They will be chatting with Dara Entwistle on the Viewpoint program starting at 8 a.m. And then next week here during this show, the 4 p.m. 411, we will have Savannah Conradi, who is the first female firefighter for the city of Lincoln. But right now we've got a few more minutes with Mayor Tracy Welch, and I know we run in some of the same circles on social media, and hot topic as of late has been once again the trash and garbage service around the city of Lincoln.
Yep.
There's, as with anything on social media, I think generally there are all sorts of comments and rumors, and this is happening and this is happening and that can't happen and so forth. Can you just kind of go over just the facts, if I can quote Dragnet, I guess, as far as the city having a franchise agreement with, is it GFL now that they're known as?
Yeah, it started out as Area, but it's GFL now.
And so what does that franchise agreement do, and what are the terms of it in terms of when does it expire?
Well, essentially what it does is it keeps costs low, and it's a guarantee that your cost of trash isn't going to have extra fees and things added to it as you move forward. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, our franchise agreement now goes through 2027.
Okay. So
GFL is who the council chose to go with through that time. I think rates will still be below $20 a month for trash by the time 2027 rolls around. There's a small incremental fee every year on March 1st. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, that's the gist of it. Obviously, there's power in numbers, and when you have 4,000 or 5,000 homes in the community, and you can put an agreement in place, it guarantees an affordable rate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so if individuals are, and we've talked about this before, if individuals have questions or are unhappy with some aspect of their service, how would they go about voicing those concerns or complaints or whatever it might be?
Well, depending on what the complaint is, I would say start with GFL, because they're the provider of the service and they're the ones that can fix it. But we do field a lot of things that started at GFL and then got escalated to us. I say that that's another benefit of the franchise agreement, is that with a typical company that you do business with, you deal with the company and what they say goes.
Right.
With us, because we have the agreement, you can contact myself, your alderman, you can call the clerk's office, code enforcement. I mean, you can get somebody on the phone, and we have contacts at GFL that can talk through and work through the issues that you're having. Sometimes it's a reminder to them that, hey, this is part of our agreement. Mm-hmm. And so we're pretty good at getting problems solved quickly.
Okay. And so you mentioned about the agreement being in place through 2027 that makes GFL the sole trash service company for Lincoln, for lack of a better term. I'm not sure what the official term is.
They're the exclusive provider.
Okay. So if a resident or a group of residents or whatever was dissatisfied and wanted to seek another trash service, that's not really something they can do, correct?
Unfortunately, that's not an option with the franchise agreement in place, and that's another benefit that guarantees the lower prices.
Okay. But that applies strictly to the city of Lincoln, correct?
Only within the city limits of Lincoln.
So if, for example, someone who lives out in Westville, such as myself, where we've seceded from the union in some terms, folks in that neighborhood would be able to look at other options.
Yeah, they can look at other options. Also, the franchise agreement is only for residential. Okay. So commercial providers, for businesses, they can choose who they want. Okay. That's their choice. I think what some people are running into is some companies won't come into the area simply because it has to be lucrative for them to be able to do it. The businesses are there to make a profit.
Right.
And the unfortunate part is running in the same circles you have online. I see what people are sharing and feel awful about the fact that some of these rates are quite lofty. I think is a nice way of putting it. I wish there was something that we could do to help them. Our purview, though, is for the residents of Lincoln within the city limits. But, it's a good opportunity to challenge our county board peers to look and see if there's something that they can do to help those residents outside of Lincoln.
Okay. All right. Let's see, we're almost at 4:30. Any, looking down my list here, I think we covered everything I had. And once again, if folks do have questions or comments or want to get in touch with you about trash service or any other issue, your information is out there. Like we said, you're on social media. Real quickly, though, there's also the app that folks can use if they, I don't know if it specifically would apply to trash, but...
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So if there are issues or questions or anything, if you want to run down, I know we've gone through it before, but if you want to run down the information about the GoLink app. Yeah,
it's called GoLink. It's GoLinc. It's a red background with the city seal on it. It's available for Apple and Android users as well. The beauty of the app is that if you are having an issue or you'd like to report something that you think is a concern, you can go on the app, you can take a photo. It has geographic location, so we can tell where it happened. It usually tags the address pretty accurately in there. You can put a description. And a really big perk of that app was that it's a two-way communication. So it's you reporting to us, but as we're taking action as a city, you're getting reports back as we do entries into the log for that event, and all the way through to closure. Okay. And so that's a really nice benefit of it as well.
Okay, so once again, the app GoLink, GoLinc, available for Apple and Android systems. Our time is up. Mayor Welch, thank you for being with us again. And,
glad to be here.
We will look forward to seeing Willy Wonka in about 4 weeks or so.
Yep.
So we'll look forward to that. Once again, our guest next week on the 4 p.m. 411, Savannah Conradi, the first female firefighter for the city of Lincoln. And on Viewpoint tomorrow, host Dara Entwistle will have the pastors from Faith Church of Lincoln. For right now, though, I'm Loyd Kirby. This has been the 4 p.m. 411. Thank you for listening and or watching. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.